Ethan slowly opened his eyes and everything around him was white. Too white. The light was so bright it felt like needles in his eyes. He tried to move, but his arms wouldn't obey him. Cold metal straps held his wrists tight against a smooth table. The air smelled strange, sharp like burned wires. For a moment, he thought he was in a hospital. But then he saw them. Tall figures surrounded him, their bodies thin and covered in metallic suits that shimmered faintly under the light. Their eyes glowed pale blue and their voices sounded like echoes inside a cave. Ethan's heart raced. He wasn't in a hospital. He wasn't even sure he was on Earth. One of the figures leaned closer, holding a shining tool that buzzed softly. "Subject 47, it said in a flat voice. "Severe internal damage. Object detected near cardiac core." Ethan blinked, confused and terrified. He tried to speak, but his throat felt dry and heavy. His voice came out as a whisper. "Where am I?" The creatures didn't answer. Another figure, taller than the rest, seemed to be the leader. It moved closer and raised a long hand. The tip of its fingers glowed faintly as it scanned his chest. "Unidentified object located," it said coldly. "Prepare for extraction." Panic filled Ethan's chest. He struggled against the straps, but they only tightened. His pulse beat wildly in his ears. "Please," he managed to say, "don't cut me, please." But the leader only turned its glowing eyes toward him. "Human consciousness active. Begin the procedure." A strange hum filled the air. Blue light spread across Ethan's chest, and he felt a deep vibration inside him. His vision blurred and pain tore through his body like fire. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The alien surgeon worked with quick, cold precision. Something hot and metallic pressed against his ribs. Then the sound changed. The humming grew louder. Sparks of blue energy jumped from the tool. The alien paused. "Wait," it said sharply. "There's something inside," Ethan gasped, feeling his chest open as cold air touched his skin. He could barely breathe. The leader leaned over him, its expression unreadable. "It's not organic," it said softly. "It's metal." The others gathered closer, their glowing eyes reflecting on the strange object pulsing within Ethan's open chest. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't a piece of metal. It was something alive. It shimmered like liquid silver and moved slowly, as if breathing. The alien's voice turned tense. "This technology is not ours." Ethan could hear his heartbeat, or maybe it was the thing inside him beating. Every pulse sent a wave of heat through his body. His vision flashed with brief images. A car crash, a falling light from the sky, and a woman's voice whispering, "You were chosen." The alien reached out a hand toward the glowing metal. But the moment it touched it, a surge of energy blasted through the room. Lights flickered. Machines sparked. Ethan screamed as the power coursed through him. When the chaos settled, smoke filled the air. One of the alien assistants fell back, its body twitching. The metal inside Ethan still glowed, stronger than before. The leader stared in shock. "Impossible," it muttered. "It reacted to us." Ethan's voice came out weak but clear. "It's not mine." The words made the room fall silent. Every creature turned to look at him. The leader tilted its head slowly, almost as if trying to understand. "Then whose is it?" it asked. Ethan didn't answer. He couldn't. His breathing was shallow, and every beat of his heart felt like thunder inside his chest. The glow from within him pulsed in rhythm with his life, and with each pulse, faint blue veins spread along his skin, crawling toward his neck and arms. The alien leader stepped back. "Stabilize the subject," it ordered, but the others hesitated. Fear flickered in their glowing eyes. One of them whispered something in a language Ethan couldn't understand. Another said, "He carries the core, the forbidden core." Pain built up again in Ethan's body. He gritted his teeth, trying not to cry out. He didn't know what they meant. He didn't know what the core was. He only knew something was inside him that shouldn't be. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed in his mind. It was gentle and warm, not like the metallic voices around him. "Don't be afraid, Ethan," it said. "You are not alone." His eyes snapped open wide. He looked around, but no one was speaking. The aliens were too busy trying to control the chaos. The voice spoke again. "They think they found a weapon." "But they found me." Ethan's heart pounded harder. He didn't understand, but deep down, something about the voice felt familiar. Safe, almost human. The alien leader noticed his change in expression. "What is happening?" it demanded. The monitors beside Ethan's table beeped wildly. Strange symbols appeared on the walls, glowing in bright light. The air vibrated as if the entire room were alive. The leader shouted, "Shut it down!" Now, but nothing stopped it. The glow grew brighter, spreading across the lab. The aliens shielded their eyes. In the middle of it all, Ethan whispered again, his voice trembling, "Who are you?" The voice inside his head replied softly, "I am the heart they took, and now I am part of you." The machines exploded in a flash of light. Ethan screamed, and everything went black. Ethan opened his eyes again, but this time the light was softer. His vision blurred, shapes floating in and out. The air smelled of metal and chemicals. He was still lying on the same white table, but the straps were gone. For a moment he thought maybe it had all been a dream. But then he looked down. A faint blue glow pulsed under the skin of his chest, moving with every heartbeat. He touched it carefully, feeling warmth and a strange vibration, like a second heartbeat inside him. Around him, the alien doctors whispered to each other in their strange language. Their faces were unreadable, but Ethan could sense fear in their movements. One of them held a glowing tablet covered in symbols. Another was scanning the air above his body. Then the tall leader, Dr. Zira, stepped forward. Her metallic eyes focused on him. "You are awake," she said in a calm but cold voice. "Do not move too much. Your body is unstable." Ethan frowned weakly. "Where am I?" he asked again. His voice trembled. "What did you do to me?" Dr. Zira looked at the others before answering. "You are safe for now. We performed surgery to remove an object from your heart, but it seems it does not want to leave." Ethan tried to sit up, but pain shot through his chest like fire. The glow inside him pulsed faster, reacting to his emotions. The machines around him beeped wildly. "Stay still!" one alien shouted. Dr. Zira raised a hand to silence the others. She moved closer to Ethan and stared at the blue light in his chest. "It's alive," she said softly. "It bonded with you." Ethan's heart pounded harder. "Alive? What do you mean alive?" "It's metal!" Dr. Zira looked at him with a strange sadness. "It's not metal. It's something beyond technology. Something ancient." Ethan shook his head in disbelief. "I don't understand any of this. I'm just a mechanic from Earth. How can something like that be inside me?" The leader stepped back, her long fingers moving across a glowing control panel. A holographic image appeared in the air. It showed Ethan's body from the inside, his heart glowing bright blue, surrounded by threads of light that spread through his veins like roots. "This thing," she said slowly, "is merging with your life force. If we try to remove it again, you will die." Ethan stared at the image, his mouth dry. The realization hit him like a storm. Whatever was inside him now, he couldn't get rid of it. Before he could speak again, the lights in the room flickered. The machines made a strange humming sound. The aliens looked around nervously. Then a deep voice echoed in Ethan's head again. "They will try to control you, Ethan. Do not trust them." His eyes widened. He knew that voice. It was the same one he had heard before. He looked around, panicked. "Who said that?" he whispered. The aliens exchanged confused looks. Dr. Zira frowned. "Who are you speaking to?" "The voice," Ethan said, pointing to his chest. "It's talking to me!" The room fell silent. The humming grew louder. Blue light spilled from his body, spreading across the floor in thin lines like energy veins. The aliens backed away. One of them shouted, "It's activating!" Dr. Zira's face turned pale. "No, it's responding to something." Symbols appeared on the walls, bright blue shapes glowing like fire. The air vibrated as if alive. Ethan clutched his chest, his mind filled with whispers. "You were chosen. They stole the heart. Bring it back." "Chosen for what?" he shouted. Suddenly an image flashed before his eyes, a woman's face, gentle and glowing. Her eyes shone with the same blue light as his chest. She whispered his name, "Ethan." The holographic image flickered in the air above him. The alien stared in shock. "It's projecting data," one said. "But that's not data, it's a human face." Dr. Zira stepped closer. "Identify this being," she commanded the system. The screen responded with strange symbols. Then, in clear English, it displayed, "Aria, origin unknown, status lost." Ethan felt tears sting his eyes. "Aria?" he whispered. The name felt familiar, like something buried deep inside his memory. "Who is she?" Dr. Zira turned to him slowly. "You know this being?" I don't know," Ethan stammered. "But I've seen her." "In my dreams. I think she saved me once." The leader looked troubled. "Impossible." This Arya was destroyed long before your species even evolved. Ethan stared at her, confused and afraid. What are you saying? Dr. Zira's voice grew quiet. That thing inside your heart, it carries the memory of a being that no longer exists. You are her host. When Ethan woke again, the world around him was silent. The sharp beeping of machines was gone. The cold, bright room was now dim and filled with smoke. The walls flickered with dying lights, and broken glass glittered on the floor. His body ached, but he was alive. The faint blue light in his chest was still glowing, calm, steady, and warm. He sat up slowly, feeling dizzy. His mind echoed with the last words he had heard before everything went white. Find me, before they do. Ethan pressed his hand against his chest. Arya, he whispered. The name felt like a key turning inside his heart. Who are you? No answer came, only silence. He looked around. The alien doctors were gone. The room looked half destroyed. Machines melted, the air thick with the smell of burnt circuits. He noticed the main door slightly open, lights flickering beyond it. He climbed off the table, his legs weak, but his will stronger. As he stepped out into the corridor, the strange metal floor hummed beneath his feet. The ship felt alive, like it was breathing. Shadows danced on the walls. In the distance, he heard muffled voices speaking in that same cold, alien language. He had to move. He didn't know where he was, or why he was here, but one thing was clear. The aliens wanted whatever was inside him, and he had to escape before they found him again. He followed the corridor, guided by the faint blue light from his chest. Sometimes the light grew stronger, almost as if it was leading him somewhere. Then suddenly a voice echoed in his mind again. Ethan. He froze. Arya? He whispered softly. Yes, the voice said gently. You are not safe here. They know you survived. He swallowed hard. What are you? Why are you inside me? The voice hesitated, then said, Because you carry my heart. And through it you carry my memory. Ethan's mind spun. Your heart? You mean the metal thing inside me? It's not metal, she replied. It's energy. The last piece of me. They took it from me when they destroyed my body. I hid it inside you before they could find it again. He stopped walking, trying to understand. So you're saying, you put this thing in me? You saved me? Yes, you were dying. I had no choice. But now, because of me, they will hunt you. Ethan felt his chest tighten. Why me? I'm just a human. I don't belong in your world. You were chosen because your heart could hold mine, she said softly. You're stronger than you know, Ethan. Before he could answer, a sharp sound broke the silence, a metallic clank. Then another. Footsteps. The same kind he had heard when the alien doctors walked. He ducked behind a glowing pillar. A group of 3 aliens passed through the corridor, their blue eyes scanning the shadows. One of them said something in a mechanical voice. Subject 47 has escaped. Search every level. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. They were looking for him. He stayed still until they passed. Then he whispered, Arya, how do I get out of here? Follow the light, she said. The ship's main chamber holds the truth. But be careful. Dr. Zira will stop at nothing to reach me. He frowned. Dr. Zira, she's the one who operated on me. Yes, Arya's voice replied with sorrow. She once worked beside me. Before she turned against everything we stood for. Ethan continued walking quietly through the glowing corridors. His mind raced with questions. What kind of creature was Arya? What truth did the main chamber hold? And why was her heart inside his? After a while, he reached a large circular room filled with floating screens and shining orbs. It looked like the control center of the ship. Strange symbols drifted in the air, glowing softly. Arya's voice whispered, Touch the console in front of you. Ethan hesitated, then reached out and placed his hand on the nearest screen. The moment he did, a surge of energy flowed through him. The ship's lights flickered, and a holographic image filled the room. It was Arya. She appeared as a glowing woman with bright blue eyes and silver lines running along her skin. Her presence felt calm and powerful. Ethan's breath caught. She looked almost human, but not quite. Ethan, she said, her voice echoing gently. This is my memory. The truth you need to see. The image changed. Ethan saw a planet covered in light. A beautiful world full of shining cities and flying ships. Then he saw war, explosions of blue fire, alien soldiers marching across the land. Among them was Dr. Zira, her eyes colder than ice. Arya's voice continued. We were healers, creators. We wanted to protect life, but Zira wanted control. She believed our power should rule the universe. Ethan watched as the hologram showed Arya being attacked, her body falling, her heart glowing as she sent it away through space. I sent it to Earth, she said. To the first human I could reach. You. The image faded, and Ethan stood there in silence. His hands trembled. Why show me this? Arya's hologram stepped closer. Because they will not stop until they take it back. And if they do, they will destroy everything. Before Ethan could reply, an alarm blared through the ship. Red lights flashed. Dr. Zira's voice echoed through the speakers, cold and sharp. Subject 47 has accessed restricted data. Capture him alive. Ethan turned toward the door, fear rising again. They found me! Run, Arya said urgently. You must protect the heart. It's the only hope left. He sprinted out of the room as energy beams fired past him, burning the walls. The ship trembled under his feet. As he ran, Arya's voice whispered one last time, trust your heart. Ethan, it will lead you to me. The corridor ahead split into two paths, one glowing bright blue, the other dark and silent. He hesitated only for a moment before taking the glowing path. Behind him, Dr. Zira's voice echoed cold and close. You can't run forever, human. That heart belongs to us. Ethan didn't look back. The blue light from his chest grew stronger, guiding him deeper into the unknown. Ethan ran as fast as his legs could carry him. The corridor pulsed with blue light, like veins running through the ship. His chest burned with every breath, the glow beneath his skin shining brighter and brighter. The sound of alarms echoed all around him, mixed with the metallic footsteps of the aliens chasing him. He turned a corner and almost slipped on the smooth floor. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Somewhere behind him, a voice shouted in that strange alien tongue, ordering the others to block the exits. Ethan's heart pounded, but it wasn't just fear. Something inside him was reacting, guiding him. Left, Arya's voice whispered softly in his mind. Without thinking, he turned left. The door ahead opened automatically, as if recognizing his presence. He stepped inside, and the door sealed shut behind him. Silence fell. He found himself in a small, dark chamber. The air was cold and heavy. The walls shimmered faintly with lines of light pulsing slowly. In the center of the room was a circular platform surrounded by floating glass panels. Ethan took a cautious step forward. Where am I? He whispered. The memory room, Arya answered gently. It's where I kept the truth hidden. Her voice sounded different here, softer, more human. Ethan's chest glowed as her presence grew stronger. Suddenly the room lit up. The panels floated higher and formed a glowing circle above him. A holographic image flickered to life. Arya's face appeared again, clearer and more beautiful than before. This time she wasn't just a hologram. Her expression changed with emotion. Her eyes were full of warmth and sadness. Ethan felt something stir inside him, a strange connection he couldn't explain. You're real, he said quietly. You're not just a voice, Arya smiled softly. A part of me still exists inside you, Ethan. The rest of me is lost, trapped beyond this ship. Ethan stared at her glowing image. Why me, Arya? Why put your heart in me? You could have chosen anyone. She looked down for a moment, as if remembering something painful. Because you were dying, she said. And you reminded me of what we lost, humanity. The kindness, the courage, the will to protect even strangers. You saved a child that night before your crash, didn't you? Ethan froze. His breath caught in his throat. He remembered. The night of the storm, the car swerving off the road, the little girl crying in the middle of the street. He had jumped out of his truck to save her. Then came the blinding light from the sky, and everything went dark. How do you know that? He whispered. I was there, Arya said softly. My vessel was falling. I saw you. I saw your heart. She smiled sadly. It was pure. So I gave you mine. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. He didn't know what to say. The idea that something not human had saved him, and now lived inside him, felt both terrifying and beautiful. Before he could speak, the lights in the room flickered again. A loud voice echoed from the hallway outside. Open this chamber. It was Dr. Zira. Arya's expression changed instantly. She found us, she said. You must leave, Ethan. But where do I go? He asked in panic. They'll find me anywhere. Arya raised her hand. The air around her shimmered. A doorway of light opened behind her hologram, showing another part of the ship, a strange bridge full of stars. That path will lead you closer to the truth, she said. You must reach the core room. It's the heart of this ship, and of my people. Once there, you'll understand everything. Ethan took a step toward the glowing doorway. Will I see you again? Arya's eyes softened. You already do, Ethan. Every time your heart beats. He hesitated, wanting to say more, but before he could, the door behind him exploded open. Dr. Zira and 2 alien guards stormed in. Sparks flew as the guards raised glowing weapons. Step away from the projection, Zira shouted. Ethan turned to run, but Zira aimed her weapon at him. You can't run from what you carry, she yelled. Give it back before it consumes you. Arya's voice echoed in his mind. Go now. The metal inside Ethan's chest pulsed violently. Blue light burst from his body, creating a shockwave that threw the aliens backward. The entire room shook. Ethan stumbled through the glowing doorway, and the portal sealed shut behind him. When he opened his eyes, he was standing in a long corridor made of glass and light. Stars stretched endlessly around him, like he was walking through space itself. The silence was almost peaceful, broken only by the soft sound of his heartbeat. Arya's voice returned, calm but sad. Zira will not stop. She believes my heart belongs to her people. But she doesn't understand. It no longer belongs to anyone. It belongs to you. Ethan walked slowly down the corridor. Why does she want it so badly? He asked. Because it holds creation itself, Arya whispered. The power to heal, or to destroy. In the wrong hands, it could end worlds. Ethan felt a chill. And it's inside me. Yes, she said. That's why you must reach the core. There, you can control it before she does. He walked until he reached a large door glowing with golden light. Strange symbols floated on its surface. His chest responded to it, his heartbeat matching the rhythm of the symbols. As he placed his hand on the door, the voice of Dr. Zira echoed faintly behind him, distant but furious. You can't hide forever, human. That heart will destroy you before it saves anyone. Ethan didn't turn back. The door opened slowly, flooding the corridor with light so bright it made him close his eyes. When he opened them again, he was standing in a vast chamber filled with floating crystals and rivers of blue energy. The air hummed like music. Arya's voice whispered softly, Welcome to the core, Ethan, the heart of everything. He took a slow breath, his chest glowing brighter than ever. The fate of 2 worlds rested within him, and he finally understood that his story was only beginning. Ethan stood inside the core chamber, his breath catching in awe. The place looked alive. Huge crystal pillars floated in midair, glowing with blue and silver light. Energy waves moved between them like gentle streams, humming softly as if the ship itself were singing. The glow from his chest answered the light around him. Every time his heart beat, the crystals pulsed back in rhythm. He could feel the connection, deep and powerful, as though the entire ship recognized him. You feel it, don't you? Arya's voice whispered in his mind. Yes, Ethan said quietly, looking around. It's like the whole place is breathing with me. Because it is, she replied softly. The core was built from living energy. My people used it to heal worlds, but after they fell, the core became a weapon in the wrong hands. Zira wants to restart it, to control life itself. Ethan clenched his fists. Then I'll stop her. But before Arya could answer, the chamber's lights flickered. The air trembled. A mechanical sound filled the space, the sound of doors unlocking. The next moment, the main gate burst open. Dozens of alien guards stormed in, their armor shining under the blue light. Their leader, Dr. Zira, walked in behind them, her eyes glowing colder than ever. Ethan, she shouted, her voice echoing through the chamber. Step away from the core. He turned to face her, fear and anger mixing inside him. Why are you doing this, Zira? Arya said you used to protect life. What happened to you? Her face hardened. Arya was a fool. She wasted our gift on weak creatures like your kind. Humans destroy everything they touch. That's not true, Ethan said, his voice trembling. You destroy because you're afraid of what you don't understand. Dr. Zira raised her weapon. And you are afraid because you do understand. That heart inside you belongs to me, to us. It's our creation. Ethan shook his head. It's hers, and she trusted me with it. Her eyes flashed with rage. Then you'll die with it. She gave the command, and the guards opened fire. Beams of bright blue energy shot through the air. Ethan ducked behind a crystal pillar as blasts exploded around him. The ground shook. "Ethan!" Arya's voice cried in his mind. "You must use the connection." "The core responds to you?" "I don't know how," he shouted. "You don't need to know. Just feel it. Trust your heart." He closed his eyes for a moment, his hands pressed against his glowing chest. The blue light inside him grew brighter, spreading through his veins, his arms, his fingers. When he opened his eyes again, the world shimmered in silver and light. The next blast came toward him, but instead of hitting, it stopped midair. The energy beam froze, hanging like smoke. Ethan stared in disbelief. The crystals around him glowed stronger, humming louder. Dr. Zira stepped back in shock. "He's controlling it." "Impossible!" Ethan lifted his hand slowly, and the frozen energy shot back toward the guards, knocking them down. His body trembled from the power, but he didn't stop. The air swirled with blue wind, and the core answered him like a heartbeat. "Good, Ethan," Arya whispered gently. "You're remembering what the heart was made for, to protect, not to harm." But the power was too strong. His chest burned and his vision blurred. "Arya, I can't hold it!" "You must. Just a little longer?" Dr. Zira roared and raised her weapon again. "You think you can control my creation? You're just a human." Ethan looked at her, his voice shaking but strong. "Maybe, but that's exactly why I can." He slammed his hand against the floor. Blue energy exploded outward, forming a shockwave that sent the aliens flying. The entire core room trembled violently. Crystals cracked, releasing streams of light that shot toward the ceiling. Shira was thrown against a wall, sparks flying from her armor. She glared at him with fury. "You'll destroy us all." Ethan dropped to his knees, panting. His chest glowed like fire, but the power was calming now, moving with his heartbeat instead of against it. He looked around at the chaos, the broken crystals, the fallen aliens, and said softly, "I don't want to destroy anything." Arya's voice returned, warm and full of emotion. "You did what you had to. The core knows you now. It's part of you." Suddenly the alarms changed. A deep red light filled the chamber. A mechanical voice echoed through the ship. "Core instability detected. Containment breach imminent. Evacuate immediately." Ethan's eyes widened. "What's happening?" Dr. Zira stood up slowly, blood shining on her lip. "You've overcharged it. The core will collapse. Everything will be destroyed." He turned toward Arya's fading hologram. "What do I do?" Her image flickered, her voice weak but steady. "You must leave, Ethan. The ship is dying. You have to escape." Ethan shook his head. "I can't leave you here." "I'm already gone," she said softly. "But you can still live. Take the heart and run." The floor cracked beneath him. The chamber filled with blinding light. Ethan looked one last time at Arya's glowing form. "I'll find you," he whispered. Then he ran. He sprinted through the collapsing corridors as explosions tore through the ship. The blue light from his chest lit the path ahead, opening doors before he even touched them. Behind him, the sound of destruction grew louder. "This way," Arya's voice guided him faintly. "The escape pods are near the outer deck." He turned a corner and froze. The hallway was full of glass pods containing human bodies. Men, women, even children, all asleep, floating in blue light. His heart stopped. He pressed his hand to one of the pods. "Oh my God, they're from Earth." "Experiments," Arya whispered sadly. "They wanted to learn from your species. You were the only one who survived." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "I can't just leave them." But before he could act, the ship shook again, and a voice boomed through the speakers. "Self-destruction sequence initiated. 1 minute until total collapse." He had no choice. He took one last look at the pods and whispered, "I'll come back for you." Then he ran toward the escape deck. When he reached the launch bay, the last remaining pod door was already open, waiting. He climbed inside, chest still glowing. The door sealed shut, and through the window, he saw the core exploding in the distance. A massive wave of blue light swallowing the ship. The pod shot into space like a bullet. Ethan closed his eyes, the light in his chest fading to a calm pulse. "You did it," Arya's voice whispered faintly in his mind. "But the journey isn't over yet." As he drifted through the stars, Ethan whispered, "Then where do I go now?" Her voice replied softly, "Home." The stars outside blurred and the escape pod vanished into the darkness between worlds. The escape pod floated silently through the endless dark. Stars shimmered outside the window, cold and distant. Ethan sat strapped to his seat, his heart still glowing faintly beneath his torn shirt. The silence was heavy. No sound except the slow hum of the pod system and the soft echo of his own heartbeat. For a while he thought he was alone. Then her voice returned, quiet, like a whisper carried through the stars. "You're safe. For now." Ethan opened his eyes. "Arya?" Her voice was faint, fading in and out like static. "Yes, I'm still here, but my connection to the core is gone. The ship is destroyed." He looked down at his chest where a dim blue light pulsed beneath his skin. "Then how are you still talking to me?" "Because a part of me lives inside you, Ethan. The heart keeps me alive, and it keeps you alive too." Ethan leaned his head back and sighed. "I don't even know who I am anymore." There was silence for a moment. Then Arya spoke softly. "You are still human. But now you carry something much bigger, a bridge between two worlds." Ethan didn't answer. He looked out the window again, watching the stars move slowly past. His mind kept returning to what he had seen, the human bodies inside those glass pods frozen in time. Who were they? How long had they been there? And why him? He closed his eyes, but flashes of the explosion, the blue light, and Arya's fading image kept returning. Sleep never came. Hours or maybe days passed. The pod drifted endlessly until finally a distant light appeared ahead. The screen on the control panel flickered. "Approaching gravitational field. Planet surface detected." Ethan sat up straight. "Arya, what is that?" "Home," she whispered. "Your planet, Earth." He stared, shocked. "I'm going back?" "Yes, but nothing will be the same when you return." Before he could ask what she meant, the pod began to shake violently. The alarm beeped as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Flames covered the windows as it plunged downward. Ethan gripped the seat tightly, teeth clenched as the pod rattled and screamed. Then, impact. Everything went black. When he woke up, there was sunlight. Real sunlight, warm and soft on his skin. He was lying on the ground surrounded by trees and grass. The air smelled like rain and earth. He sat up slowly, dizzy and sore. The escape pod lay half-buried in a crater behind him, smoke rising from its side. For the first time in what felt like forever, Ethan was back on Earth. But something was wrong. His body felt strange, lighter, stronger. The blue light under his skin still glowed faintly, and he could feel energy around him, like the world itself was alive. "Arya," he said softly, "are you still here?" There was no answer at first. Then faintly, "I'm here, Ethan. But my voice, it's weaker now. The heart is adjusting to your world." He touched his chest, feeling the pulse of the alien metal inside. "What am I supposed to do now?" "Find the others," she said. "There are more like you, survivors of the experiments. They're scattered, hidden across your world. They carry fragments of what was lost." Ethan frowned. "You mean the humans I saw on that ship?" "Yes," she replied sadly. "Some escaped long ago. They live among your people, unaware of what sleeps inside them." He stood up slowly, looking around the quiet forest. Birds flew across the sky. Everything seemed normal, yet deep down he felt something different. The world looked brighter, sharper, alive in a way he'd never noticed before. "What happens if they find out?" he asked quietly. "Then the truth will surface," she said. "And it will change everything." Suddenly a sound broke the silence, the crunch of footsteps. Ethan turned sharply. A figure was standing at the edge of the forest, a woman in a black coat, holding a strange device that glowed faintly blue. "Ethan Cole," she said in a calm, steady voice. "We've been looking for you." Ethan froze. "Who are you?" She stepped closer, her eyes cold and sharp. "My name is Dr. Lin. I work for the Earth Defense Biotech Division. We detected an energy signal, alien in nature. It led us right to you." Ethan took a step back. "I don't want any trouble." Dr. Lin smiled slightly. "Neither do we. But whatever is inside you, it doesn't belong here." Her words echoed painfully in his mind. "It doesn't belong here." That's exactly what he'd said on the ship. Arya's voice whispered urgently in his head. "Ethan, she's lying." "She's one of them, a descendant of Zira's order. They survived and they're still searching for me." Ethan's heart began to race. "What do you mean, one of them?" he whispered under his breath. They want the core's power. If they take the heart from you, they'll restart everything we destroyed. Dr. Lin tilted her head, her tone soothing. Ethan, we can help you. You're not well. Let us examine you. He shook his head, stepping back slowly. I've heard that before. Her calm smile faded. She raised her device and it began to hum. The air shimmered around it like heat. Don't make this difficult, she said coldly. Ethan turned and ran. Energy bolts exploded around him, burning through the trees. His chest glowed brighter as he sprinted deeper into the forest. His body moved faster than he ever thought possible. He jumped over fallen logs, dodged trees, and felt the strange strength coursing through him. Arya's voice guided him. Keep going! There's a river ahead. Jump! He reached the edge and leaped. For a moment he was flying through the air. Then he crashed into the cold water below. When he surfaced, gasping, the blue glow from his chest dimmed again. He swam to the shore, his heart pounding, his mind racing. He lay there on the riverbank, staring at the sky. They're never going to stop coming, are they? He whispered. No, Arya said softly. Not until they take back what's inside you. But you're not alone, Ethan. Others will find you. And when they do, your real journey will begin. Ethan closed his eyes. The sound of the river mixed with Arya's fading voice. Above him, through the clouds, a faint light blinked. A ship, watching from orbit. And deep inside his chest, the alien heart began to beat faster, as if it knew what was coming next. The forest grew darker as night settled. Ethan walked for hours, barefoot and exhausted, following the faint glow of the moon through the trees. Every step felt heavier. His body ached, his mind burned with confusion. The blue light under his skin had dimmed now, but it still pulsed softly, a constant reminder that something inside him wasn't human anymore. The wind rustled the leaves. Somewhere in the distance an owl cried. For a moment the world felt quiet, almost too quiet. Then Arya's voice returned, faint and tired. You need to find shelter, Ethan. Your body is still recovering from the fall. He looked around. Where do I go? There's nothing out here. There is, she said softly. Follow the river downstream. You'll find a small settlement. They will help you, Ethan frowned. Who are they? Arya paused before answering. People like you. He didn't understand, but he trusted her. He followed the sound of the water until he reached an open valley. In the distance, faint lights flickered. Not city lights, but small fires and lanterns. A hidden village, deep in the forest. As he approached, the shapes of small wooden huts came into view. The place looked old but alive, filled with the quiet hum of energy. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the ground, the same ones he'd seen on the alien ship. Ethan froze. Arya, what is this place? Home, she whispered. For the ones who survived. Before he could ask more, a voice called out behind him. Don't move! Ethan turned quickly. 3 figures stepped out from the shadows, 2 men and a woman. They were dressed in simple clothes, but their eyes glowed faintly blue. One of the men aimed a strange silver weapon at him. Who are you? The woman asked firmly. How did you find this place? Ethan raised his hand slowly. My name's Ethan. I crashed nearby. I don't want trouble. The woman studied him carefully. Then her eyes widened as she noticed the glow in his chest. He has it, she whispered. The others looked shocked. The man lowered his weapon. It's true. The light, the same as hers. Ethan frowned. Hers? You mean Arya? The woman stepped closer. You know her name? Yes, Ethan said. She's inside me. For a moment no one spoke. Then the woman nodded slowly. Come with us. You need to see someone. They led him through the narrow paths between huts. People watched quietly as he passed. Men, women, even children, all with faint traces of blue light beneath their skin. Ethan realized what Arya meant. These were the survivors, the humans taken from the ship long ago, now living in hiding. Finally, they reached a larger hut at the center of the village. Inside, the air was warm, filled with the scent of herbs and firewood. An elderly man sat near the flames, his eyes glowing softly. He looked up as they entered. Another one, the old man said, his voice calm and deep. The woman nodded. He carries her heart. The man turned to Ethan. Come closer. Ethan obeyed. As he stepped near, the old man placed a trembling hand on his chest. The blue glow flared brighter, and the old man smiled faintly. So it's true. The keeper has returned. Ethan frowned. Keeper? The man nodded slowly. Long ago, Before Arya's people vanished, they chose one being, human or alien, to carry the living heart of creation. That being was called the Keeper. It seems she chose you. Ethan took a shaky breath. She said I was dying. She saved me. The old man's eyes softened. Then she must have seen something in you. Ethan looked down. But I don't understand any of this. Why me? And why are people still after it? The man sighed. Because the heart can change worlds. In the wrong hands, it brings death. In the right hands, he smiled faintly, it can heal everything. Before Ethan could reply, a loud alarm echoed through the village, a deep metallic hum that shook the air. Everyone froze. The woman ran to the door and looked outside. They found us, she shouted. In the distance, lights appeared in the sky, dark ships descending fast, breaking through the clouds. The same humming engines Ethan had heard before. Ethan's heart started pounding. Dr. Lin, Arya's voice broke through his mind, sharp and urgent. Ethan, you have to protect them. The signal from your heart led her here. You must get them to safety. Panic filled the village. People ran, grabbing children and supplies. The ships hovered above, dropping soldiers in glowing armor. Energy beams sliced through the trees. Ethan clenched his fists. I won't let them hurt anyone. The woman who found him shouted to the others, Follow him! The villagers moved quickly through the forest as explosions lit the sky behind them. Ethan led the way, his chest glowing bright enough to light the path. Arya's voice guided him, calm despite the chaos. Left, Ethan. Now right. The cave is near. Hurry! They reached the river just as the ships descended lower. Ethan turned back and saw the old man still standing in the open, facing the enemy. Go! The man shouted. Protect the heart. Ethan wanted to run back, but the woman grabbed his arm. He's buying us time, move. They dove into the cave just as another explosion shook the ground. The entrance collapsed behind them, sealing them inside. For a long moment there was only darkness and the sound of heavy breathing. Then Ethan's chest began to glow softly, lighting up the cave walls. The survivors looked at him with a mix of fear and hope. He sank to the ground, shaking. I never wanted any of this, he whispered. Arya's voice answered gently. I know. But destiny doesn't ask what we want. It only asks what we're willing to protect. Ethan looked up, his face pale but determined. Then I'll protect them. Whatever it takes. Outside, the sky burned with light as Dr. Lin's ships searched the forest. Inside the cave, Ethan's heart glowed brighter, a small beacon in the dark. And for the first time, the survivors whispered a name they hadn't spoken in years. The Keeper has returned. The cave was silent, except for the distant rumble of explosions outside. Dust fell from the ceiling as the world above shook. Ethan sat on the cold stone floor, breathing hard, surrounded by frightened survivors. The glow from his chest lit the cave walls with a soft blue light, their only source of hope in the darkness. Arya's voice was faint but steady in his mind. They're closing in, Ethan. Dr. Lin won't stop until she takes the heart. You have little time. Ethan clenched his fists. I can't keep running forever, Arya. If I do, more people will die. This has to end. Then you must face her, she said softly. But not with hate, with understanding. Only that will awaken the heart's true power. He didn't fully understand, but her voice gave him strength. He stood, looking at the woman and the survivors who had followed him. Stay here, he said firmly. No matter what happens, don't come out until it's over. The woman stepped forward. Ethan, you'll die if you face them alone. He shook his head. If I don't, we all will. Without another word, he turned and climbed toward the cave's upper tunnel. The faint light of dawn leaked through a small opening ahead. He pushed through it and emerged on the mountain slope overlooking the burning forest below. Alien ships hovered in the distance, their lights scanning the ground. Soldiers moved through the smoke, and standing at the center of it all was Dr. Lin. Her black coat fluttered in the wind. Her cold eyes locked on him the moment he appeared. You survived, she said, her voice echoing across the hill. Impressive. You've caused me a great deal of trouble, Ethan. He walked toward her slowly. You don't have to do this, Lin. Whatever this heart is, it doesn't belong to anyone anymore. She smiled faintly, cruelly. You think I want it for myself? No, Ethan. I want it for what it can do. To rebuild what was lost. To make humanity stronger. That's not strength, Ethan said quietly. That's control. Her eyes flashed. Control is survival. Your world is dying, Ethan. Wars, greed, corruption. You've seen it. With the core's power, we could change everything. Ethan shook his head. You'd destroy everything instead. Dr. Lin raised her weapon, the same one she had used in the forest. It glowed brighter now, fueled by alien energy. Then so be it. I'll extract it from your body myself. Ethan felt the metal in his chest react instantly. His pulse quickened and blue light burst through his veins. Arya's voice grew louder. She's trying to force the heart out of you. Ethan, you must take control before she does. He dropped to his knees as pain tore through him. The ground shook. The air filled with blue and red energy as the two forces collided. Arya's light and Lin's weapon clashing violently inside him. Ethan screamed, gripping the ground. Arya, I can't hold it. Yes, you can, she whispered. Because it's not just my heart anymore. It's ours. Her words sparked something inside him, a memory. The night he saved the child before his crash, the warmth of her hand. The selfless instinct to protect even in fear. That was who he was. That was humanity. He stood up slowly, his eyes glowing like two suns. The blue light spread outward, forming waves that rippled through the ground. The alien soldiers stumbled back, blinded. Dr. Lin shielded her face, shouting, "What are you doing?" Ethan's voice echoed with calm power. Finishing what Arya started, he raised his hands, and the air shimmered. The broken earth began to heal beneath his feet. The burning trees stopped smoldering, leaves sprouting again as if time reversed. The ships in the sky lost power and crashed gently to the ground, engines fading. Dr. Lin looked around in shock. Impossible. Ethan stepped closer. The light around him pulsed like a heartbeat. You wanted to use this power to control life, but it was never meant for that. It was meant to protect it. She aimed her weapon again, trembling. Then you'll have to destroy me to protect them. Ethan looked at her sadly. No, I'll save you too. The light grew so bright it swallowed everything. Dr. Lin screamed as her weapon shattered, and the energy engulfed her. But instead of burning her, it dissolved the corruption within her. The blue light entered her chest, calming her. She fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. When the light faded, the forest was silent again. The air was fresh. The ships were gone. The soldiers, human and alien, lay unconscious but unharmed. Ethan stood in the center, his chest still glowing faintly. He looked up at the sky, which was now filled with soft morning light. Arya, he whispered. It's over. Her voice was peaceful, almost like a sigh. You did it, Ethan. The heart is finally awake. You've given life back to both worlds. He smiled weakly. I couldn't have done it without you. There was a pause. Then she said softly, It's time for me to rest now. The energy that kept me alive will return to the stars. Ethan's eyes filled with tears. No, don't leave me. I'll never leave you, she said gently. Every heartbeat you take, that's me. That's us. The glow in his chest began to fade. He felt warmth spread through his body, not power this time, but peace. Dr. Lin stood slowly, her expression no longer cold. Ethan, what did you do? He looked at her, tired but calm. I gave the heart back to where it belongs. She looked down at her hands, trembling. I felt it. The light. It wasn't anger. It was mercy. Ethan nodded. That's what makes us human. For a long moment, they stood in silence. Then Lin turned away and walked toward the horizon, whispering, Maybe it's time I remember that. Ethan watched her go, then looked up at the sky one last time. The morning sun rose higher, and for a second he thought he saw her, Arya, standing among the clouds, smiling before fading into light. He smiled back. Goodbye, Arya. Then he turned and walked down the mountain toward the forest, where the survivors were waiting. Children ran to him, their eyes glowing faintly with the same blue light. The woman from the village smiled, tears in her eyes. The keeper has returned, she whispered. Ethan shook his head gently. No, the keeper is gone. Now there's only one heart, one for all of us. The wind blew softly through the trees, carrying Arya's last words through the air. The universe doesn't need rulers. It needs healers. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling her presence within his heartbeat. The light in his chest shimmered once more, not as a weapon, not as a curse, but as a promise that life, no matter how broken, could always begin again.